Fluid 100 watercolor paper review. All of these are paintings I've done on Fluid. I can break down all these big words and numbers. Ready to take over, brain? Okay, let's go slow. Time for a remedial review. Cold press finish. It doesn't mean a polar bear sat on it. This is the texture of the paper, also known as the tooth. Not teeth like George Washington. Teeth that make the paper feel bumpy. The purpose of these bumps is to hold more water and paint. "100% cotton." Cotton paper buckles less than wood paper. It makes sense because them trees be representing. Want to find out what buckling is? Let's head into our highly sophisticated lab. For safety reasons, I'll have to use something shallower for submerging. Let's start by dipping all three at once. Salt Lake City is nice this time of year. You can already tell which one is which. The fluid here is still rigid enough. Paper X is struggling but usable. That index card is soggy like cereal. Comment below what you think the soggiest cereal is. Tooth, texture, cotton. Fluid 100 paper holds more color. It doesn't matter who is doing the work as long as it gets done. Here's how the tooth shows up in a scanner versus a good old photograph. I personally prefer the texture. It screams traditional artwork. Acid-free prevents yellowing and adds to the archival qualities. Archival is overrated. This painting doesn't have to last 1,000 years. I don't even have kids, and if I did, I'm sure they'd sell this painting at a garage sale to go on a Groupon vacation at Disney World. You know what? I hope it lasts, so I can haunt them for a few generations. 300-pound, 640 GSM. That means 500 sheets of this paper weighs 300 pounds. Your favorite copy paper is typically 80. GSM stands for grams per square meter, and that's something to do with Pulp Fiction and McDonald's. Speaking of Mickey D's, if you're enjoying this review, please like and subscribe. It's free for you, and I'd love to quit my day job cooking fries for an abusive clown. Here's our official thickness measurement, 1 millimeter. It took me 9 sheets of copy paper to even the thickness for the thickness. The flat texture hot press paper maxes out at 140 pounds. I don't think I'd trust that light of paper with water, but out of the trust and love I have for the cold press, I would try it on other projects. Easy block means you paint on the pad and then cut it when you're done. No way, this glue is way too powerful for that. I cut before I paint. I'm not damaging my 100-hour masterpiece because this glue is more solid than dinosaur fossils. I'm playing with something sharp, so I need all of my focus. As you can see, this is not the recommended dull knife or letter opener. Even a fresh razor struggles with this glue. Take your time removing the paper from the Easy Block. Here's how much glue I peeled off the page. Here's the typical tear I made trying to demonstrate for this lovely video. I'll add this to my glue collection so I can smoke it later. Let's demonstrate a realistic scenario like spilling water on your artwork. I'm an outline before I paint kind of guy. If you're the slap paint on and go type, this is up your bowling alley. Let's test pencil marks on each paper. I'm going to write both light and hard to determine how the pencil affects the paper. Now that all three have an autograph, let's erase half to see how permanent the damage to the surface is. Fluid has a fragile surface. It's superior to water and paint, but struggles when its surface is tampered with. I had to use a lot of pressure to erase, and it did affect the surface. I would suggest a kneaded eraser or get pretty better at outlining. Pencil strokes will leave a permanent impression on the surface. This isn't made for outlining and covering up strokes with paint. You better draw precisely, like you're signing your mom's name on a detention slip. Let's compare the average application of paint on Fluid 100, Paper X, and copy paper. Look at those color wheels. I ran out of budget, so no lab this time. Let's use a basic paintbrush for wetting the entire sheet. Here's what buckling looks like after a nice, even coat of water. That index card is shriveling like George. Let's poke at it with a paintbrush and see how much a basic wash buckles. Fluid ain't having it. The others are past the crimp of the paintbrush. Here's that eye level angle. This is a step down from a complete wash, but we can see how wet on wet works. In a nutshell, this is mixing your watercolor on your painting instead of your palette. We're going to use a generous amount of one color and apply a different color while it's still wet. This is sloppy and I must destroy this spill. Apparently, I forgot how to clean. We'll add some blue and see how purple these look after adequate drying time. We will apply some paint and try removing the paint like an eraser. We will use cotton swabs to keep the scrubbing even. This is completely dry watercolor. We're going to remove as much paint as possible before damaging the surface. That's how many licks, Mr. Owl. Fluid has a fragile surface, but is better with paint and water. People will argue about this brush does this, that paint does that, etc. Find your paper. You should tweak and refine what materials work best for what art you're trying to create. You can replace a bad brush, change paint, and medium during a painting. What truly matters is what you put your drawing on. And that paper will be there forever, like a Fugly drawing. Spend your time investing in quality paper because your foundation isn't what you want to be second guessing. Bad paper will limit you on many technical aspects of drawing. I love this paper and you should try it, but when you buy your pad, be sure and tell them that your boy Fug sent you, and the cashier will ask, "Who's that?" If you tried the Fluid 100 paper, what's your experience with it? Please drop a comment and tell us what your favorite watercolor paper happens to be. Thanks for watching.